Hey, what's going on, everybody? Guess what? It's the holidays. It's Christmas time. I'm on vacation right now. I'm speaking to you from the past, especially if you're in the future. If you're watching this in August, it's gonna be like, what? Anyway, since I'm on a little vacation, I decided to make a quick video of giving a tour of the shop, of the tools, of everything I use to forge, create, and do work here in the shop. So let's take a little look. All right, so this is Big Blue. It's a Blue Max 155. It's a pneumatic power hammer. This thing is awesome. It saves me a ton of time. Things that would take hours, even on the hydraulic press. This thing knocks that time way down. Much like a car, gas means go. You give it some gas, it goes. You let off the gas, it stops. So for whatever reason, if something bad is happening, all you have to do is take your foot off and it stops pretty quickly. So these things are incredibly loud and they're actually filled with sand. That was the interesting part. We had to dry out a bunch of sand so it wasn't moist and like harboring mold and things, and fill all these compartments are hollow and fill them up with sand to try to deaden that noise and try to give it some weight so it wasn't jumping around everywhere. I highly recommend you just empty your bank account and get one. It's really simple. Come on, why doesn't everybody do it? One of the oldest and coolest tools here in the shop is this hydraulic press. This thing was made by General Electric in 1945, which is pretty amazing. Still runs well. It has a really slow throw. We're not sure exactly what happens, but when you throw as quick as you can and it kind of bottoms out, and then that hydraulic fluid kind of has to like reset itself. Basically, you get that first throw and then you come down, and then when you go back up, it is slow as molasses. Not necessarily great for blacksmithing. A lot of presses for smithing will have like quick throws, so you're just making little pinches and you're going and growing. I like this personally just to set billets for setting a pattern welded steel billet, right? Setting Damascus. It has just such a wide surface area that it can just hit it all at once and evenly and drive it down. Now we come to my little personal corner. I've got my cabinet over here, and inside is a great many special secrets. Inside is a mess. I'm a messy person. I'm gross, disgusting. Why are you watching? Yeah, so I have all the stuff I need in here. Extra aprons for classes, to sanders, to grinders, to leather stains, little bits here and there, files. I've got some, you know, things. Anyway, this little cabinet of mine is really special. Oh, I think you got some nice big deer antler that somebody lent me. It was very kind to do that. So we'll have to create something cool out of that. Maybe a big old handle or something. We got a nice big oxyacetylene rig, a big old roast burner on the end. We've got a cutting torch. I mean, what can you say? It's oxyacetylene. It works great for doing hot peen. Also, we've got this little like jeweler station set up. It's a much smaller oxyacetylene rig and with a much smaller burner, and it's a little two-headed. It's for doing like very light brazing. Obviously, we're not making jewelry here, but you can do some light brazing and some light work. This thing doesn't see a lot of use, but I found it works really well when laying in copper or bronze in a piece. You don't want all that heat from the big torch that's just gonna blow it out. You want a little more control in the baby torch. Hey, we got my little guy right here, my little personal fella. Oh, what's that? Is that a multi-tool USA belt sanding extension on the end there? I think it is. This thing is great. I love this thing. The rubber wheel. I know at some point in the future they're going to be creating different contact wheel sizes for this thing, hopefully. That will make it even better. I highly recommend this if you don't have the money to buy a nice big rig, or you don't have the time to build your own big rig. You just have a nice bench grinder, you slap this thing on the side, and boom, I use it for everything: swords, knives, decorative pieces, big and small. The power is really determined by the size of your bench grinder. But this thing is awesome. Easy, quick disconnect, in and out. I love it. I can't get enough. Here's our little skid row bench grinders and bench buffers. You've got Scotch-Brite wheels, you got buffing wheels, you got wire wheels, brass wire wheels, just like hard abrasive wheels for grinding, and a little baby belt sander on the end. The Scotch-Brite wheel is fantastic. I've been using it more and more to put a finish, especially before going in the acid for Damascus. We got a nice little setup, a nice little road out. I'm getting rode out. So we got two lathes over here. We got the big South Bend and the small Klausing. The big South Bend is awesome. I've used it to wheel down a bunch of stuff. It's automatic. I mean, it's a lathe. If you don't know what a lathe is, you're gonna have to look it up. But if you wanna see what it is, hey, just wait till the future from this video. I'm gonna be doing some Damascus steel shift knobs for some racing boys, you know what I'm saying? So stay tuned for that, because that's gonna take a bunch of lathe work to perfectly shape those down. That's coming in the future as soon as I find the time. This is our Waterjet CNC machine. This thing is awesome in cutting out whatever you need. Now, it's not just water. I learned that it's actually ground up garnet stones. You know those things that go in your class ring that people act like they're super expensive? Well, they're not. There's giant bags filled with crushed up garnets that you just spray out of a hose, and it cuts up steel, and they just go to waste. So you go to whoever's selling those class rings and you drop a big bag of garnet dust on them and you say no more. Anyway, I'm gonna be using this machine at some point to, I use it a lot to create rings, which I don't do so much anymore, but I'm definitely gonna be doing a video in the future showing how, yeah, if you have something like this, you could create some pretty cool Damascus rings and jewelry, and you can really create anything. This will cut through, I think it's like 4 or more inches of solid steel. It's gonna take a minute to cut through that, but it will do it. So it's great for cutting out anything, similar to like a plasma CNC table, but a little bit cleaner and a lot more wet. So this thing has been my favorite new addition to the shop. It's a welding table, but there's these perfectly spaced holes, and then you have these special clamps that fit down on those holes, and you can clamp anything anywhere on the surface, and the surface has been perfectly planed down, flush. So when I take a sword or a knife or something out of the quench, right, and it's setting up after the quench, and you want to lock it down, normally you go in like a vise, but on that table you can clamp it all the way down perfectly flat and let it set right there. And for somebody who does this all the time, that thing is amazing. I get straight pieces out of the quench pretty much every single time. Fantastic. And this is the forge. It's custom made by some machinists who are no longer with us in this shop. It is a 4-burner. There is no kind of ribbon or dispersing unit or material on top. It's just straight piped in, which can be a little unfortunate because then you have these cold spots because the cold air is being forced in with the gas, and so it burns a little unevenly, and maybe in the future we'll add a section to disperse the heat a little bit. It is a forced air and natural gas forge. We got a natural gas line that runs straight from the building, and it is twice the diameter of the natural gas line in your house. So this thing can really pump out some BTUs. You can definitely melt steel in there, no problem. So you really got to monitor that thing because you can send it and stuff will start burning, and that is a big old no-no. I love that thing. It's gonna need some new fire brick. It's gonna need a new fire brick floor at some point. But I'm gonna keep running until I run into problems. So this is the shop. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know it's not super exciting. I know it's not a brand new build, but I am on vacation right now, and I wanted to make sure content keeps coming to you. There'll be brand new content next week. So stick around for that. If you want to see a build, if you want to see me make something, you know, you can throw out unreasonable things, but hey, if you have any very reasonable requests that one person can do in very limited amount of time each week, please let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to see happen. And if you're watching in the future, well, you've already seen those things happen, or you see me crash and burn, you know, whatever. Anyway, Merry Christmas if you're watching currently. Hey, Merry August if you're watching in the future. And hey, See you next time.